Hi, the reason why I'm doing this video is to talk to you guys about Black excellence. You have people every day in our community fighting to be Black excellence. But at the same time, you're not realizing that the fight is very much real because either you're docile, you sleep, and you they sheep, or either you're woke and you that goat and you bucking as much as you can to survive. However it goes, whether sleep or woke, no matter how you looking at this situation, there are a million different things that are going on with our people. And we have to be woke enough to deal with it. First of all, we're fighting every day for education, but yet and still, the only Black excellence we see is on TV. The only excellence that you see is on TV, and now they're showing a distorted Black image of successful African American people, and you're not woke to it. You don't see your next door neighbor excelling unless they're doing something illegal. And if you see them doing something illegal excelling, you feel like, okay, that's what it takes to get there. You have not surrounded yourself around positive people. We cannot sit up here and run for politics in our community. Why? Because they're sitting up there, they got gatekeepers. They're trying to stop you from excelling. They're trying to stop the growth right here in our community. And even if you get through the door, trust me, the war hasn't gotten over with. It just began. So get up and go to work. Half of our people have to learn to work sick because we're competing against people that don't want us with jobs. A lot of this they're not going to tell you. Some of the hospital jobs, a lot of jobs that should be offered to you, you will not receive. And if you get it, you won't get fair pay. You will have to take minimum wage pretty much and walk through that door with hardly anything and any support. And this is the games that they've been playing with our people for a century when it comes to Black excellence. You can go to school, and I'm going to tell you, I have had it where I went to school, went to college, and every year they're adding on new requirements for you to get your degree. And we're not talking about Ivy League colleges. We're not talking about colleges that's, you know, all the way up there. We're talking about colleges that say they cater to the African American community and other poverty communities. So when I see people talk about Black excellence, explain clearly to me what's your expectation for us. Because if y'all don't know that we're still in the fight for Black excellence, if you don't know that you're in the fight for excellence, period, no matter what color you is, and I'm going to be real with you, stop color coding it, saying, oh, it's just Black people. White people in those same trenches, Hispanics, everything. You have to fight. All life matter. Because if you haven't realized, you have been isolated from excellence, no matter what color you are. And we're not fighting hard enough. You want to really see your enemy, you start trying to actually reach the heights that you see on those TVs. I bet you your enemy will show up and show you that they've been your enemy the whole time, and you will not have expected who's playing Screw Tape with you. This is an actual book called Screw Tape, talking about how they enslaved people, and it's an English book. Talking about that antebellum. Talking about how they have mistreated our people, and you probably find it on YouTube. And you're not woke to it. My uncle is over so and so in your family, and this and that, this and that. And the whole time, you're just being screwed around. Never truly obtaining excellence. Never truly obtaining a craft. Because witchcraft is you just obtaining knowledge. They even consider preaching a craft. So when you say witchcraft, You got to understand, they're not using something that's magical, because what's magical is just common knowledge. Common knowledge. Elevation. That's why our kids are distracted in school. And the moment that the teacher says, get the problem out the classroom, they don't want to get it out of the classroom. Why? Because they never wanted your child to be excellent to begin with. When you start seeing your enemies, I want you to know you're going to start seeing your enemies support their people talking about they playing on your team. Supporting their people talking about they're playing on your team. I can't tell you, I was in a custody battle for my son. I had every attorney that tried to represent me have a conflict of interest. Either they worked for who was fighting against me for my son, or they had a conflict of interest because they had associations, friends that was involved with that group, and still tried to represent me and play me on my side like they for me, and the whole time they were for the opponent that was going up against me. You can't play both sides, baby. You're going to have to pick a team. But this is how they've been advancing. They've been saying, hey, we on your team, we on your side. Truth be told, they're not. They never meant for you to excel. That's why they got their people sending up their gatekeeping on your side, talking about they for you. And they not. We're putting politicians in office saying that they for us, and they gatekeeping in our communities, becoming more and more poverty stricken. More and more people are being raped. More and more young girls are not excelling. More of them are becoming teen parents and becoming youths that are bringing forth children into the world, but yet and still they can't bring forth excellence. They never can quite seem to reach their heights. They seem like that mentally they're stricken, and they are. Because they're dancing with Satan. And guess what? Lucifer don't want to let you go. And we're praying that a judge come that can actually bring forth fair. Because the judges, we're dealing with corrupt judges that have no belief in fair. Have no belief in fairness. They have used psychological crafts to keep us stricken in our communities without. Saying that you are mentally ill, you are not mentally capable of progressing. Our children, before they reach a certain age, they have already mentally handicapped them, saying that they are ADHD and they're this and they're that, and that is not the case. This is part of the reason why you're not seeing excellence. What craft are they using? Medical, psychological, mental, a whole bunch of different crafts that they're using that's at their disposal. But have you noticed that these crafts you don't have access to advance to? Why aren't you a doctor? Why aren't you a lawyer? Why are you having such a hard time becoming a nurse? Why are you having such a hard time becoming an accountant? Why are you having such a hard time becoming a tech support? You're having such a hard time. You're going through all those fights because they don't want you to have anything. You get sick when you go to work. Why are you getting sick? Because you're trying to provide for your family and work 5 days a week. You're getting sick because it is a war, because they never meant for you to have a job. They have an agenda in place where you won't even be employed. You will be on the streets struggling if you don't fight now. You going on a job, you thinking everybody your friend, but you don't see how they trying to railroad you. They burn you once, you sit up there and you be like, oh, and then they sugarcoat it and try to make it look like it's good, but it's not. It's not. It never been. And you haven't learned, okay, I got to feed them with a long handle spoon. I'm a good person, but I got to guard myself while I work. I'm a good person. I got to protect myself while I work, because you have managers that come with a screw tape agenda. You on your lunch break, you only did 30 minutes, and they'll come out there, hey, you passed your lunch break. No, sweetheart, I don't come in early. Screw tape agendas. Don't play with me. You sitting up there, you dealing with people on your job trying to screw you over, because they have a screw tape agenda. They have an agenda that says that you will be the lesser class, and guess what? They skin look like yours. Oh, you light bright, you white, they skin look like yours. But they come with their screw tape agendas to sit up there and oppress you and your people. And unless you sit up there and you stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. Because they playing like they on your side. But truth be told, let me tell you something. You got more enemies that's on your side than you got out there in the field. So you better start weeding and seeding and sit up there and actually pull up some of these switches, tears, and make sure they get from around you. These switches, tears, and weeds, they got to go. Either you for me or you're not for me. And if you're not for me, I don't care if you family. I don't care if I gave birth to you. I will cut you off. Because I don't need an enemy on my side. I got too many. I don't need you to play me like butter play toast or like white play rice. I don't need it. Find somebody else for that. But this is part of the reason why you're not going to have black excellence as much as you think, because you're going to have to fight for it. You're going to have to go into work when you're sick. You're going to be sick as a dog. You're going to still get up and you're going to go to work. And you're going to work your whole 8 hours, and you're going to do the best that you possibly can that whole 8 hours. When you're sitting up there and you're in school and you're in college and you feel like you can't hardly breathe and you're going through all that different stuff, you're going to have to get up and still fight, despite the fact that you're aching, despite the fact that you hurt and everything, because that's their agenda. They don't want you to have. So they use crafts like that. They use diseases. Yes, they have access to diseases to make you sick. So they use those diseases that they have access to keep you sick. So how you going to work when you sick? That's so that, guess what? They get rid of you. They use Section 8, welfare, Medicaid, keep you stricken with nothing. Oh, I got my own house. I got my own this. I got my own that. Can you afford any of it? Who's paying for this? These are agendas. These are agendas to screw you over. This that screw tape connection. You on housing. You in a poverty community. Guess what? When you on housing, you see more jokers selling dope than a little bit. Either way it go, you're going to either be in housing or you're going to work for your own, and you're going to sit up there and you're going to be in a little small apartment where it's drug infested, everything around you. You ain't going to have a choice on, okay, well, look, I stand for this, and certain things I'm not going to have around me. Because truth be told, you got to get it. So everything that you see around you is corruption, injustice, unfairness, and everything. But guess what? Excellence begins with you. Black, white, Hispanic, no matter what culture, Italian, no matter what culture you are, excellence actually starts with you for that culture. And when you show the difference, when you show the change, when you start showing up for yourself, will you be able to actually see the change take place? See, because right now it's sugar-coated. As long as you don't try to have nothing. And these are niggas in my community. They black like me. gatekeeping. Main ones we fought alongside trying to help keep up. Now we find out they gatekeepers and trying to keep us with nothing. They black like me, grew up just like me, but don't want us to have nothing. And that you will see. Know what you're dealing with. When you go to those schools, study hard as you can. When you sit up there and you go on their jobs, work as hard as you can. Work like you're working to God for God. I don't work for you. I work for God. And if I'm not feeling well, I'm going to do the best that I can. But at the same time, no, I'm not feeling it. But work like you're working unto God. Work like you're working for God. Continue to elevate. Continue to grow. Continue to do what you have to do. The enemy ain't going to like you. They never did. So know your position with them. You ain't got to like me. You ain't got to never like me. You don't even got to sit up there and speak to me if you don't want to. But one thing you will not do, you will not come here on the foolishness with me. Because I'm not giving none of that to you. You're not going to give none of it to me. I know how to do paperwork. And guess what? I know that they'll support you. I have witnessed them support you. Even when you do illegitimate, wrong things, sexually harass people, do some of God knows what on these people's job. I have witnessed it. I have been through it. I have wrote the paperwork. So I don't expect nothing any different. But when you sit up there and you try to make it like our people don't want anything, you know that's a lie. I seen you add on credits when we sat up there and we went to school for our degrees. Add on credits so you can add on no more credits. Say, oh, you need this credit, this credit, this credit, this credit, this credit. We had completed multiple degree programs. No call from the counselor saying, hey, you know, we owe you a degree. I owe you a criminal justice degree. I owe you this degree. I owe you that degree. Multiple degrees could have been completed, but not one counselor called. Know what you're dealing with. But guess what? You shouldn't have had to call, because this is going to teach us to have proper stewardship over what we supposed to do. Over what you're supposed to do. Start gatekeeping with yourself. Making sure you're doing what you have to do. Oh, they didn't ask me to sit up here and study the policies and procedures here at the job. But guess what? When you find yourself back there on the computer studying their policies, their procedures, when you're doing their training website, that's not there for nothing. That's excellence. You disregard it. They don't. That's excellence. You sitting up there doing the trainings, doing what you got to do. Do you have a training website here at the job? Oh yeah, of course we do. Okay, well let me get on it. Let me see what's going on. Let me see how I should approach this. And I'm going to be real with you. Some of us are working 16 hours a day at one job. But yet it's still, you're working 16 hours, you're showing excellence, but at the same time, you're tired by the time you get home and all you can do is sleep. Some of us only work 8 hours. Let me show you about the 8-hour work. When you work 8 hours and you come home and all you can do is sleep because you work more than 8 hours. The clock says you work 8 hours, but I know the truth. You work more than 8 hours. You probably worked 16 hours and didn't even know that you worked them. Because this the game the man plays with you. That's why you tired. And then on top of it, they have the audacity to drug you. So you feel the injection being injected into you while you lay there comatose in their simulation of what black excellence will never be. And then they tried to make you look stupid. Let me tell y'all something else too about this. Them trying to make you look stupid, or you walking around thinking you crazy. When God begins to enlighten you, you might actually look at your circumstances and say, am I crazy? You might even go check yourself into a mental health hospital to make sure that you're registering what's taking place, because you have never seen anything like this. Even if you've seen it and your memory has been erased, you are in a new awakening. So you don't go to a mental health hospital because that sit up there and make you sit up there and go around more people that's trying to screw you over and trying to create a screw tape on you, on how they want to screw you over. And this is real. They don't want to talk about it. I talk about it. They don't want to speak on it. I speak on it. Because my honesty is law. My honesty is truth. Baby, I live this. I don't have to sit up there and lie about it. I can actually say this is first place witness. This is me living it. This ain't what somebody's telling you about. This is something I had to live through. People I looked up to and supported, I had to realize that their support for me was none. If I wasn't a part of the clique, the group that they were associated with, if I wasn't part of the crew, I'm a nobody. So when they pick them up and take them to their little cemetery, I let it do what it do. Baby, because I serve God. I serve a living God, not a dead one. I serve the God that resurrect, but yet and still I know, even though I hear the bell ringing, I don't serve bell. I don't serve the awakening. I hear you on the other side. I don't serve the awakening. But this is the problem with Black excellence. So let me tell you something. I'm going to make it as simple as I can. You can go to school for those degrees, and when you see them try to sit up there and lure them all to certifications, don't say nothing to them. Don't say nothing to them. Take the certifications and say, thank you, God, for this, and just keep going to school, because they're going to tell you can't go back to their school no more. That's something they ain't going to tell you. They ain't going to tell you how they only had plans for you to have babies and have multiple children and never actually reach a point of excellence yourself. All they wanted you to do is breed children into this world by these idiot men that don't stand on principles. And you dudes, I know y'all feeling it vice versa. They want you to sit up here and have babies by these idiot women who have nothing and stuff like that, and try to keep your kids from you. And trust me, I don't want no more kids, because when I sat up here and I saw the plot, how they use my kids against me to keep me near people, to keep me close to people, and how these people played me with these children, I never have one. That's why I take my Depo shot every month. And Depo shot is as accurate to 99% as it could possibly be. And when I heard them talk about brain tumors, I was like, nah, they lying. They want that vaccination. And they have cleared it off the market because they want it. A lot of the medication that actually work, and they're using it like research medication, they don't get that access to y'all. Y'all only, we use as lab rats and monkeys. So they test their medication on you. They can't test it on dogs and everything else. And guess what? If it works, then they want it. And then it becomes a name brand, and it's no longer accessible for you or affordable for you. But you the first one who got it. All they do is put a new name on it. Know what you're dealing with. This the disease. This that cure for wellness in the hood. This that cure for excellence in the hood. To keep you diseased, to keep you mentally without. To keep you thinking that you can never get it, you can never reach it, you can never have it. and stuff like that. And truth be told, that's a lie. Or to keep you where you sitting up there, you're holding to people that's abusing you. You're holding to people that's mistreating you so that you can have just a little bit that you have. And that's not what God wants for your life. Know what you're dealing with. God bless. May these words encourage you guys. Stay blessed.